It was a quiet summer evening at the dacha. The air was filled with the sweet, almost intoxicating scent of freshly cut grass. Somewhere in the distance, grasshoppers were chirping, their rhythm blending seamlessly with the soft hum of the countryside. For the first time in a long while, I allowed myself to simply stop, breathe, and relax. After an exhausting week of work, I had been dreaming of this moment, of my little corner away from the city, where no one disturbed me, where the silence itself felt like a gift. Here, I could walk barefoot on the cool grass, breathe in the clean air, and listen to nothing but birds and the rustle of leaves. I had set a small table under the old apple tree. A delicate tablecloth covered it, and on top stood a cup of hot tea, a plate of ripe strawberries glistening like tiny rubies, and a book I had been postponing for months. Everything looked just right. Everything was exactly as I had imagined it countless times on my busiest days in the city. For once, life seemed to arrange itself the way I wanted. But then, I heard it. Beyond the gate came laughter, loud voices, and the unmistakable sound of heavy footsteps, shuffling, clumsy, and absolutely out of tune with the peace of my evening. My stomach tightened. I stood up, squinting at the dusty road outside. And then I froze. Marching toward my gate was an entire group of relatives, my mother-in-law's side of the family, carrying bags, baskets, and wearing broad, satisfied smiles. Their noisy chatter carried through the still air. Their very gait, confident and careless, told me everything. They hadn't just come to say hello. No, they had come with the full intention of staying. I felt a chill run down my spine as memories of the previous summer came flooding back. That time, their unexpected visit had turned into a full-scale invasion. They had eaten everything in sight, raided the pantry for jars of jam, taken meat out of the freezer without asking, and then complained that there wasn't enough food prepared for them. I had swallowed my frustration in silence back then, too afraid of ruining relationships. But the humiliation of it never left me. And now it looked like the nightmare was about to repeat itself. My heart began to pound faster. But instead of retreating, I straightened my back and walked firmly toward the gate. They were already close when I stopped in front of them. I opened the gate just slightly, just enough to block their way. They stared at me surprised. Clearly, this was not the warm welcome they had been expecting. "What, here to eat again?" The words slipped from my lips, sharp and loud. My voice was steady, but inside, every muscle trembled with tension. At the front was my mother-in-law's sister, dragging along a bag so large it looked like she was planning to stay for a month. They all froze. Some chuckled awkwardly, others rolled their eyes, and one aunt muttered, "But we're family. Why so unfriendly right away?" I did not smile. I did not step aside. Years of suppressed irritation surged inside me like boiling water. I suddenly realized this evening would never again be quiet and peaceful, but at least I had the chance to finally do what I should have done long ago. Uncle Sasha was the first to break the silence. A stout man, always sure of himself, he spread his arms and said, "Come on, Alya. We're family. We just thought we'd spend the weekend here with you, light the sauna, make some barbecue. What's wrong with that?" I crossed my arms and met each of their gazes one by one. Their faces, flushed from daytime drinking, looked arrogant, entitled, as if they had every right to be here. At their feet were enormous bags, not filled with groceries, but with clothes and personal belongings. They had clearly arrived intending to settle in for several days. I almost laughed, but it came out bitter. And who's going to buy the groceries? Who pays for the gas, the water, the electricity? Have any of you ever brought anything other than empty bottles and dirty dishes? My mother-in-law, who had been standing quietly in the back, suddenly stepped forward. Straightening her shoulders, she said in a commanding tone, "Don't start, Alya. Remember, you built this house with our money. Don't forget that. We all have a right to come here whenever we want." Her words struck me like a whip. They had always liked to claim the credit, though in truth, not one of them had ever lifted a finger here. Every plank, every nail, every patch of paint was my own work, my sleepless nights, my savings scraped together over years. I took a deep breath, squared my shoulders, and spoke clearly. "This dacha is mine, and you are not setting foot in here without my permission. I didn't work myself to the bone to turn this house into your free hotel." They grumbled in protest. A cousin frowned and muttered, "Look at her, acting all high and mighty. We thought you were family." The anger inside me burned, but with it came something else, relief. At last, I had said what I'd been holding in for years. Silence fell, heavy and strained. Only the birds kept singing, and the rusty gate creaked under my grip. "If you want barbecue," I added coldly, "go home and make it there. You're not welcome here anymore." For the first time, I saw them hesitate. These loud, confident people suddenly looked lost, as if they couldn't believe someone dared to speak to them this way. They began raising their voices, trying to shout me down. One of my husband's aunts, a plump woman with a piercing voice, cried out, "Shame on you. How dare you treat family this way? We only came to eat. Is that so terrible? Are you really so stingy that you can't share a simple meal?" Their words dripped with disdain, as if my dacha existed solely for their amusement. I looked at them and realized no matter how much I cooked, cleaned, or hosted, it would never be enough. They would always want more. My mother-in-law stood aside, silent but smirking, clearly enjoying the sight of her relatives cornering me. She never said much in these situations, preferring to let others attack while she pretended to stay neutral. I stepped forward, my voice sharp and final. "Enough. I'm tired of you treating my home like a cafeteria. This is my house, my space, and I won't let you use it anymore. If you want food, you all have your own kitchens." Behind me, my husband shifted uncomfortably. He tried to mumble something in their defense, but I turned to him sharply. "You know this isn't the first time. You've seen how I exhaust myself cooking for an army while they never even say thank you. And you stayed silent. But today, no more. This ends now." I said it loudly, firmly, so every single one of them could hear. A tense silence followed. The adults glanced at each other uneasily. Even the children stopped fidgeting. For once, my words had cut through their noise. One of the aunts tried to recover, scoffing. "Who needs your little country house anyway? We can live without it." But the quiver in her voice betrayed her surprise. She hadn't expected resistance. And at that moment, I felt a strange calm. A deep certainty. Boundaries must be defended even if it means being the bad one in their eyes. The longer I stared at their bewildered faces through the gate, the stronger my resolve grew. Never again would I allow anyone to claim my home as theirs. The sun was already sinking, casting golden light over the raspberry bushes, the trimmed lawn, and the vegetable beds. I stood there, breathing in the evening air, exhaustion mingling with relief. My husband finally approached. He put his hand awkwardly on my shoulder. "You know," he said quietly, "you're right. I never realized how hard this has been for you." His voice was sincere. For the first time, I felt he was seeing things through my eyes. Days later, the whole crowd appeared again at the gate. But this time, I was ready. I walked out to meet them, standing tall, and said firmly, "There will be no entry. This house is for my family. If you need food, the store isn't far." And for the first time, my husband stood beside me. "Mom," he said, "this is wrong. Stop taking advantage of her." His mother flushed red. The others muttered angrily. But it was clear, this time, they wouldn't win. One by one, they turned back, slamming the gate behind them. That evening, I sat on the terrace in silence. The scent of jasmine drifted through the air. My husband was by the grill, preparing dinner just for the two of us. For the first time in years, the dacha truly felt like mine, not a hostel, not a buffet, not a place for uninvited guests. I knew there would be more conversations, more attempts at pressure. But I also knew one thing: I had learned to say a firm no. And that simple word gave me the freedom I had almost lost.